G'day everyone. Yellowbrow is a strange multi-part boss fight. He's not particularly difficult and I don't think many of you will need a guide, but just in case some people struggle, we'll go over some of the most important details. In phase 1, he does have a few different combos with his big thunder mace here, but they're all very slow and extremely telegraphed, so I'm not going to go through them all in detail. He does a thunder stomp with a follow-up pulse if you get too close, and a couple of little lightning projectiles that are super easy to dodge. You can literally just walk around them or dodge. When he waves his mace in the air and summons all these little orbs, he's going to fire them at you in 3 waves. 3 back-to-back dodges is all you need. Now this is one that might catch you off guard. When he slams his mace to the ground and it still has a thunder effect, it's about to send out a quick wave of lightning that you need to jump or dodge. There's also this variation of it where he swings it around first and then sends out the lightning. The only other thing to be aware of is when he fills the room with little lightning orbs like this, he's about to do a big AoE attack. You just need to get away from him and then wait it out. Otherwise, just play this phase quite aggressively. He's very slow and his attacks don't do much, so you shouldn't have too much trouble here. Once you phase, you'll face the Macaque Chief again. He's only a little more difficult than the first few times you fought him, but you also have little rat boy here to help you, so it should be fine. You can play this phase quite aggressively as well and you shouldn't have too much trouble, but I'll just show you 1 or 2 of his most dangerous abilities. He does have a few combos that are basically a series of 4 or 5 slashes, but you don't really need to learn them because they don't follow you particularly well, so just back up with 2 or 3 rolls and wait it out. One to be aware of is when he backs up and holds his sword in the air like this, he's about to disappear and then blink back in and do a big powerful slash. It's not particularly hard to avoid, but you do need to be ready for it because he'll blink back in behind you usually. As I said, play aggressively. I'm using a combination of the non-able spirit, heavy thrusting attacks with 3 focus points, and the cloud step spell to keep him pretty much stun locked for quite a while. There is one part of the fight where he has about 3 illusions helping him out. Just ignore those and go for the main ones because the rat buddy will take care of them. One other particularly deadly combo is when he does a little flip and then stabs his sword into the ground like this. He's about to do a little flip followed by a nasty flurry of slashes that can do a fair bit of damage, so just keep out for this one and back up with 2 or 3 rolls. Once you beat the Macaque Chief, you'll go through a kind of weird but simple transition phase, and then you'll be on to the final phase, where you face Yellowbrow again. He's a little harder this time and just has a few new abilities. Early on in the fight, and then once more right at the end of the fight, he's going to do this thing here where he turns himself golden, and when he's like this, all your light attacks are going to bounce off him. To break this, you need to do a heavy attack with 3 focus points. 2 is not enough. Luckily, if you start charging as soon as you can, there's just enough time to get it in before that lightning attack lands. Now his moveset is nearly entirely the same as it was in phase 1. He's still very slow and his attacks are still very telegraphed, which is good. It's pretty intuitive to dodge most of his attacks. He also doesn't have a gap closing ability, so if you are in danger at any point, just back up and heal and he takes forever to get to you or to do anything. Now in terms of a brief look at my build, I am using the Chew by Spear, which is one that you get from the 4 Captains side quest. If you haven't done that, maybe Google it, it's a bit vague, and you'll have to double back to the Pagoda realm to do some more stuff. If you like the thrust stance though, it's definitely recommended. It increases the damage slightly for all thrust abilities, and it gives you a slightly different moveset, which is a little quicker actually, and it's only got 4 light attacks. I really like it. Now he does transition twice during the fight. There's one coming up here, where you'll get frozen for a moment and you won't be able to do anything. He'll beat you up a little during a cutscene and then you'll be back on. So yeah, don't freak out, you can't avoid that. For my spirit, I'm using non-able, which you get here in chapter 3. The active effect changes based on where you're up to in the light attack chain. They're all kicks, punches and smashes of some sort, and in general it gets stronger the further into the light attack chain you are. So with the spear, after the 4th light attack is the strongest. Its passive effect also gives fantastic offensive stats, so damage, crit and crit damage, but it does reduce your maximum mana, which I'm fine with because I don't use much spell. It's also a low chi cost, so it recharges very quickly. And here's another one of the cutscene transitions, same again. My spark points are nearly entirely in physical stats, so I've got the entire stamina tree, the left side of the martial tree, and a bunch of the raw stats, so damage, health, and crit. I've also taken defense stats here, as well as in the transformation tree, which are very valuable points. He does do this big AoE again. It looks a little bit different, but it's the same attack. You'll just need to back up with about 4 or 5 rolls right to the edge of the room. You don't have a huge amount of space to spare. Otherwise, I'm basically just using the thrust stance, and I'm equipped with the long scale armor, mostly because it's my best defense at the moment, but it also gives thunder resistance, which is good for this fight. Now, he'll turn gold again towards the end of the fight. I don't know exactly what percentage or whatever this is, so you won't be as expecting it. Right now, you see I have 0 focus points, so it's best just to back up and start charging as soon as you can. I doubt you'll be able to get 3 focus points charged up, so you just get 1 or 2 off that you can. Back up and wait for the next gap and do it again. Now here is one of his new abilities. He puts this ring of lightning down around him. This one's protecting him. As you saw, I just bounced off him. He also does another variation of this that we'll see in a moment, where he puts the lightning ring around you. This time it stops you from leaving the circle, and he often follows this up with those lightning orbs that we just saw. It's not too dangerous, but when he does this, just move to one side of the circle and then be ready to dodge side to side as they come down. I kind of stuffed it up there, but they don't hurt too much. As I said, at your next chance, start charging those focus points up again, and you should be able to break that golden stance again. Now the end of this fight is pretty slow and it's much of the same stuff, so I'll wrap it up here with the voiceover, but feel free to keep watching. I know this was an easier fight, but I also know that I've played a lot of Souls games, so it's kind of hard to gauge where you guys are at and whether there's an audience for this. So if you were struggling and this helped, please let me know in the comments. It'll help me figure out the difficulty threshold as to whether I should make a guide or not for future bosses. Either way, thanks for listening everyone. Cheers.